Chapter 4, Sincere Prayer. My dear Wormwood, the amateurist suggestion, in your last letter, warned me, that it is high time for me to write to you, fully on the painful subject of prayer. You might have spared the comment, that my advice about his prayers for his mother, proved singularly unfortunate. This is not the sort of thing that a nephew should write to his uncle, nor a junior tempter to the under-secretary of the department. It also reveals an unpleasant desire to shift responsibility. You must learn to pay for your own blunders. The best thing, where it is possible, is to keep the patient from the serious intention of praying altogether. When the patient is an adult recently reconverted to the enemy's party, like your man, this is best done by encouraging him to remember, or to think he remembers, the parrot-like nature of his prayers in childhood. In reaction against that, he may be persuaded to aim at something entirely simultaneous, inward, informal, and unregularized. And what this will actually mean to a beginner will be an effort to produce in himself a vaguely devotional mood, in which real concentration of will and intellects have no part. One of their poets, Coleridge, has recorded that he does not pray with moving lips and bended knees, but nearly composes his spirit to love and indulges a sense of supplication. That is exactly the sort of prayer we want, and since it bears a superficial resemblance to the prayer of silence as practiced by those who are very far advanced in the enemy's service, clever and lazy patients can be taken in by it for quite a long time. At the very least, they can be persuaded that the bodily positions makes no difference to their prayers, for they constantly forget what you must always remember, that they are animals and that whatever their bodies do affect their souls. It is funny how mortals always picture us as putting things in their mind. In reality our best work is done by keeping things out. If this fails, you must fall back on a subtler misdirection of his intention. Whenever they are attending to the enemy himself we are defeated. But there are ways of preventing them from doing so. The simplest is to turn their gaze away from him toward themselves. Keep him watching their own minds and trying to produce feelings, thereby the action of their own wills. When they meant to ask him for clarity, let them, instead start trying to manufacture charitable feelings for themselves and not notice that this is what they are doing. When they meant to pray for courage, let them really be trying to feel brave. When they say they're praying for forgiveness, let them be trying to feel forgiven. Teach them to estimate the value of each prayer by their success in producing the desired feelings. I never let them suspect how much success, or failure, of that kind, depends on whether they are well, or ill or tired at that moment. But, of course, the enemy will not meantime be idle. Whenever there is prayer, there is danger of his own immediate action. He is cynically indifferent to the dignity of his position, and ours, as pure spirits. And to human animals on their knees, he pours out self-knowledge in a quite shameless fashion. But, even if he defeats your first attempt at this direction, we have a subtler weapon. The humans do not have the direct perception of him which we, unhappily, cannot avoid. They have never known that ghastly luminosity, that stabbing and searing glare, which makes the background of permanent pain in our lives. If you look into your patient's mind when he is praying, you will not find that. If you examine the object to which he is attending, you will find that it is a composite object, containing many quite ridiculous ingredients. There will be images derived from pictures of the enemy, as he appeared, during the discreditable episode known as the Incarnation. There will be vaguer, perhaps quite savage and puerile images, associated with the other two persons. There will be even some of his own reverences and bodily sensations accompanying it, objectified and attributed to the object revered. I have known cases where what the patient called his God was actually located up and to the left at the corner of the bedroom ceiling, or inside his own head, or in a crucifix on the wall. But, whatever the nature of the composite object, you must keep him praying to it. the thing that he has made, not to the person who has made him. You may even encourage him to attach great importance to the correction and improvement of his composite object, and to keep it steadily before his imagination during the whole prayer. For if he ever comes to make the distinction, if ever he consciously directs his prayers, not to what I think thou art but to what thou art knowest thyself to be, our situation is, for the moment, desperate. Once all of his thoughts and images have been flung aside, or, if retained with the full recognition of their merely subjective nature, and the man trust himself to be completely real, external, invisible presence there with him in the room, and never knowledgeable by him as he is known by it, why, then in it is the incalculable may occur. In avoiding the situation, this real nakedness of the soul in prayer, you will be helped by the fact that the humans themselves do not desire it as much as they suppose. There's such a thing as getting more than you bargain for. Your affectionate uncle, Screwtape.